Hey guys, Meteorologist Chris Tomer here with this Friday mountain weather update. Let's go to some live cams because here comes the Arctic front. This is Big Sky, Montana. They're reporting 3 inches of new snow in the last 24 hours. You still have more to go, but temperatures are going to be falling drastically behind this Arctic front. It's moving from north to south, from Montana into Wyoming, then eventually through Utah, Colorado, into New Mexico. Let's go to radar. Let me just show you what radar looks like here across the west. And you can kind of see it's over. You can see the blue, the snow there, but that's the front coming down through Montana and Wyoming. And then eventually it's going to crash into Colorado. Let me take you into Wyoming here. You can see the blue developing right along the front. Eventually we're going to get some light snow accumulation over the top of the Tetons as well. Pretty good snow up around Red Lodge and the Wind Rivers. And then through Casper eventually and Haugaden, and then all of this will move down into the Laramie Range and the Snowy Range, and then down into the central and northern mountains of Colorado, including Denver. Denver is going to get snow and a lot of cold air. That is the Arctic front. Let me take you up to the northeast, some light snows here, a little bit coming off of Lake Ontario, a little lake effect. But I only have light snow accumulation in my forecast for the Northeast. All right, let me just set the table. Here's water vapor satellite imagery. So oranges and reds at the low levels, drier air. Your moistures and your whites and your blues. And you can almost see the front right here barreling down through Montana. So all this cold air is spilling down. And there's some lift with it. We're going to have some good, some okay orographics through Montana and Wyoming, and probably better orographics once we get into Colorado, especially right on top of the Continental Divide. And I'll show you that pattern coming up. But this is a serious cold front. It's going to bring well below zero temperatures to a number of ski resorts. And then there is some other energy behind this. There's another area of low pressure here. And all of this, and let me just show you, I mean, there's a ton of dry air. This is all dry air out ahead of this thing right here. That's all that is. It's just dry air. So the whole pattern, everything's going up and around it and then cruising down. So all this energy back here will eventually get drawn into the flow as an additional cold front or additional cold fronts. All right, here are my bullet points. So a couple of things to mention. Our Arctic front is today, tomorrow, and 119. Now, some of my snow numbers have increased from yesterday. They sort of trended down yesterday, and then I brought several of them back up. Just based on some new information. There's a second trailing cold front, but it still looks awfully weak for Colorado and New Mexico. 119, 120, and I don't have anything major for the Northeast or even California for quite some time. All right, here's my snow timeline, best odds of snow. Big Sky, so you've got light to moderate snow continuing today. Light tomorrow, light on 119, and then potentially heavy on 122 with an additional storm system. In the Wasatch, you've got snow coming late today, tonight, tomorrow, light to moderate accumulations. Light on 119. In the Tetons, you've got that developing today, and then some light on 119. Most of the numbers were bigger for the Tetons, unfortunately. Colorado, you got snow coming late today, or basically this afternoon, tonight, tomorrow. Light to moderate accumulations, and then another front, 119.20. That's that trailing front. Interior BC, you can see the numbers, potentially moderate on 124, and in the Northeast, a few chances for light snow accumulation. All right, let's drill down to Alta, Utah. So this is the forecast mediagram for 9,000 feet. There's our column for today, the 17th. There's Saturday, there's Sunday, and there's Monday. Okay, so winds really increasing today, up to about 50 mile per hour gusts up there to 50 miles an hour at 9,000 feet. Little Cottonwood, essentially over in Big Cottonwood as well. So that's the leading edge of that Arctic front. That's going to turn the winds out of the west-northwest, and then the snow production begins late tonight throughout the morning hours tomorrow. Now, this model's light. It's got about 2 inches of accumulation. I think we're going to be, especially up at Alta and Snowbird, Brighton, Solitude, I think we could be closer to 4, 5, 6 inches now up in that area. So a little light on this, but the temperatures are definitely going to get colder. So today we start at about 20. Tomorrow it's only single digits. I mean, and then by the end of the day tomorrow, we're well below zero, 6 below by 7 p.m. And Sunday is going to be bitterly cold. If you're skiing on Sunday, take your warmest clothes for sure, with well below zero in the morning, topping out at 6, and then back to below zero by the end of the day. Okay, let's talk about Colorado. I want to show one time height forecast. This is Steamboat. So the northern mountains of Colorado, the front will definitely have an effect on the northern mountains and even the central mountains of Colorado, and certainly right on the divide tilting east down through the Front Range foothills into Denver. But you can see the green. That's what I'm looking for here. This is a 72-hour forecast roughly for humidity, and you can see the green. It's a higher humidity, better chance of moisture condensation, snowfall, some lifting winds here, and there's a decent amount of this through the atmospheric layers, and you read that from right to left. And so once we get into the moisture this afternoon tonight, it's going to hang around for a couple of days across the central to northern mountains of Colorado. Let's talk about snow accumulation. So this is snow accumulation over time. Now on this, the light blues, that's going to be your light snow accumulation under 3 inches. Once you pop into the greens, that's 3, 4, 5, 6. And then if you see yellows, that's 7, 8, or even more inches of accumulation. So we're going to start this at lunchtime today. You can see the light blue up there in Montana, dropping down into Wyoming. All right, here we are by late tonight. It's about 10 o'clock tonight. You've got some light snow accumulation up and down the Wasatch, the high Uinta, snow continuing in Wyoming. Snow across Denver and the Front Range developing, snow in the central to northern mountains of Colorado there. Okay, and by the time we get into early, now this is early Saturday morning. Okay, now look what's happening here in Colorado. We've got some greens and some yellows popping up, so that could be 4 to 8 inches of accumulation running right through the foothills of Colorado, right on the west side of Denver as you run up into the foothills. Western suburbs could get 6 inches. Um, call it 4 to 8 across a lot of the Front Range, but the foothills and then running up to the Continental Divide, Loveland, A Basin, Winter Park, Longs Peak, Eldora, Cameron Pass, Buffalo Pass, all those areas could see over 6 inches of accumulation. All right, here we go with, here's lunchtime. On Saturday, still light accumes over the top of the Wasatch, the high Uintas, Wyoming, and also Montana. And look at Colorado. Look at the snow accumulation moving south towards Pueblo, Colorado Springs. It's heading down to Cuchara, the Sand Grays, the Wet Mountains, and eventually into northern New Mexico. Here we are by late on Saturday. You can see it's all shifting to the south. By early on Sunday, leftover snow accumulation in Colorado, leftover snow accumulation in northern New Mexico, and then that whole storm system is done. That whole Arctic front has moved away at that point. So this is late on Sunday. Let me take you into early. So this is early Monday, the 20th. Little bit of blue showing up there across the central to northern mountains of Colorado. That's that trailing cold front. Again, I really don't see huge impacts from this, but it's mainly going to be centered over Colorado and New Mexico as time rolls on. There's 10 o'clock in the morning. Okay, let me show you my official numbers here. So this is all of today through 120. We'll start in the Wasatch, and I've got 3 to 6 inches. I do think that Alta and Snowbird, Solitude, Brighton could do 4, 5, 6 inches. Less elsewhere. Up in the Tetons, I bumped those numbers up a little bit. 4 or 5 inches will do it. Probably about 4 up there at Big Sky, Bridgerville, where it's snowing right now, and then the temperatures are going to start to drop. Maybe 8 for Red Lodge, and potentially 6, 7, 8 inches around Haugaden up down there in Wyoming. Now in Colorado, the biggest numbers are all in the central to northern mountains, and even especially as you kind of go east up to the Continental Divide and tilt down. So 4, 5, 6 inches through Crested Butte and Gothic, and then up into Aspen, Snowmass, the Highlands. About 6 over Vail Pass, 6 in Summit County around Breck, and 4, 5, 6 inches around Keystone, potentially 8 up there around A Basin and Loveland and Winter Park, maybe more up around Eldora and Cameron Pass and Steamboat. Mount Werner's Storm Peak, about 10 up there. Now, in southern Colorado, we might be able to pull off 5 or 6 over Monarch and down in Silverton at the ski area. And I think 8 around Kuchar and probably 6 around Taos as that front dives south. And then you're into some very light snows outside of those areas I just mentioned. I've got zeros right now for the Sierra, Oregon, and a lot of Washington State. Interior BC, very light additional snows, maybe 1, 2 inches of accumulation, and that's probably going to do it. All right, here we go to the Northeast. So this is all up today through 120. Again, a few different chances for light snow here in my timeline. Light 118, 19, 119, 20, and 123. And that's where I come to these numbers, and they're not that big. So there's no gigantic nor'easters or anything like that. 2 or 3 inches for most places is probably going to do it. And there's going to be lake effect. So Snow Ridge will benefit from some of that lake effect, but that's 117 through 120. Okay, we're going to end on my big western map here. Again, the big story is the Arctic front. It's going to just, I mean, the temperatures are going to plummet well below zero, and you're going to get some snow accumulation, some very, like pixie dust type of snow with the temperatures this cold. So it might be hard to accumulate in some places where it gets really, really cold. But you can see that the numbers, they're best in the Tetons, parts of Big Sky, Bridger Bowl, parts of the Wasatch, and certainly in Colorado. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in here. Always appreciate it. Take care and have a great day.